We are taking a look at the concerns of the Senior Staff Association of the public universities across the country who have declared a strike, indicating that their members who are charged with providing critical administrative roles across public universities will be withdrawing their services nationwide, giving governments redundancy or perhaps dormancy in resolving their concerns regarding conditions of service. We've been interacting with some leading figures of the group, and here's what they've got to say about day one of that strike.
So the Senior Staff Association KNUST chapter have begun their first day of protest against government's decision to scrap their 50% basic allowance, which they have been taking over time. According to them, government started to scrap this allowance last year, November, without their consent. They are protesting against government decision, and they say they would not return to work until government restores this 50% basic allowance.
Our main issues are two. The main issue has to do with our tier 2 that government has been holding and has not paid since February of last year. That is our main issue. And this issue has been an issue that we have gone to government on so many occasions trying to let government address this issue. But government has refused to address this issue. Some of our members have gone on pension, and when you see the amount of money that they have been given, you realize that government is actually making things difficult for us. That is our main issue. And the second issue is about information that we have gathered that indicates that the government is going to reduce our allowance, that is the overtime allowance, fixed overtime allowance, from 50% to 10%. The government is giving a new name to the allowance, call-in allowance. This has been an arrangement that we have had for a very long time, and we feel that this is going to have an effect on our members. Imagine your salary, you've been reduced to that level. These are issues that are so concerning to our members, and that are the two main reasons why we have gathered to embark on this industrial action.
Nah, yeah, Akufo-Addo, yeah, nah, yeah, MP before. Na election year pano ye say ye di bro nya ye Marco school. Adwuma ye wo ha say ye ba night. Me say election year. Ye betu etia papa we rough. Do ye real fit me say or restore allowance ni my kwa me say ye betu etia no. Do aye ya papa. Enti say o pesa ye ni ekunu ye ma. Ye ni dien. Opem so be hye ye ni ona mo. And as I said, the abandoned quit as a Santamai, one pay and put to a back. Nanakufado, ye bet to it here rough.
My is that any government that comes, if you are not increasing our pay, what we are already on, you are not supposed to take it out. And now you have not increased our pay, you are taking what we are already enjoying, which is very bad. So he should think twice and then restore our allowance for us.
So when they are to resume work is not clear yet. According to the association, they would only return to work upon government's decision to restore their 50% basic allowance. For Joy News, my name is Nana Boachi Dankwa-Yadom, Kumasi.
And from the Ashanti region, we head up north to UDS, where Martina Bugri reports.
The various departments of the University for Development Studies have come to a halt following the declaration of the strike by the Senior Staff Association of Universities in the country. The union met to declare their support for the strike announced by their leadership. Speaking to the media, chairman of the Senior Staff Association of the University for Development Studies, Mohammed Zakaria, said if government indeed prioritizes universities in the country, it should have addressed these issues before the universities resume.
The implications of the government actions are unacceptably severe, particularly for retirees from 2020 to 2023, who have been denied their rightful lump sums and are currently facing abject poverty and illness in their own houses for after a years of dedicated service to the public universities in Ghana.
We are not coming back to work. Sure. We know it is counterproductive, but we are saying that government of Ghana should be held responsible for all the suffering that will arise as a result of this strike. It's unfortunate, as we have indicated, that this is the time that the academic and administrative work is in full gear. But government should have looked at that aspect and listened to us and solve the problem. The government failed to do that, putting the poor students of this country into trouble, because now we are packing back and baggage. So if government of Ghana is serious about the tertiary educational activities in Ghana, government should listen to us within the shortest possible time. But if government of Ghana thinks that tertiary education is not a priority to it, then fine, we are fine with it. The people of Ghana, we are all watching. It's unfortunate though that we are saying that senior staff is not responsible. The government of Ghana is responsible for all the suffering of our staff and the students. That's exactly what. So today, we have declared an indefinite strike. Indefinite means indefinite. We are going to put in place a task force. If we get you in your office, we will take the right punitive action against you.
Meanwhile, some students of the university are worried this would affect the academic calendar.
Yeah, so as you know, after COVID, the academic calendar was distorted. So coming into this year, 2024, we're expecting that if all things being equal, we are going to have the academic calendar back to normalcy. And here is the case: Senior Staff Association have gone on strike. As you can see behind me, we are doing freshers registration. We started last week. And then right after they leave here, they have to go to their various departments to make verification. You go to the offices right now, there is nobody there. And if you are not verified officially, you are not a student. If you are not verified officially, you are not counted as a student. Let me put it that way. Yeah, so since they've gone on strike, it's going to affect studies, because after verification, that is when you can proceed to class. But then here is the case: you can't even go and verify.
This strike is really going to affect us a lot, since our lectures are very important when it comes to our academics. That's mainly our purpose here. And then as of now, academic year has started and we are just roaming around as students. We are not attending lectures, nothing, just because of this particular thing. So we are just pleading with the government. We are really pleading with you so that lectures, you help our lectures so that our lectures can come on.
And James Bannon Yakubu is the trustee of the Senior Staff Association, Universities of Ghana, speaking to me earlier.
Not that I can say, but what I know is that before we went on the industrial strike, we have written letters to government. You know, before you embark on such a strike, you need to notify government at least some number of days, like 2 weeks. We did that on the 4th of January. We didn't hear anything from them. And then after we declared the strike, I saw some communique flying around. I don't know how true it is that Labour Commission is inviting us for a hearing. That I'm not too sure.
Have you received that letter officially?
Officially, not that I can say, yes.
But what the social media one suggests?
Yeah, sometimes something like that. You know, sometimes things can fly. Right. So once I didn't get that official notification from the national seat, I cannot say that.
But are you willing to engage?
Oh, why not? Why not? We are employed in the university to work, and nobody is happy to be at home, including myself. Look, my brother, let me tell you, sincerity, this strike, I'm not happy about it. It is, we are taking it as a pinch of salt, because I have my case at the basic school. And the basic school is going to be affected. These children will be at home. Us who have worked in this noble university 40-something years, 50-something years, and they cannot access their lump sum when it comes to pensions. This is a very serious issue. If we think that we are not thinking about now, we will also go, and the same thing will follow us. So why won't we let government know, now that we are active, we should fight for those who are inactive, so that at the end of the day, they can get what is due them. How can you work in the university for more than 40 years? You go home, they give you 2,000. 2,000, some of them 1,500. These are the realities on the ground. No university worker is happy. As when it comes to our pensions, they don't respect us. They do it anyhow. You go sometimes.
When was the last time you engaged government?
We have been engaging government on this. You can remember our last strike, it was the same thing. They owed us some arrears from 2010 to 2016. Then we fought government. Government paid the principal, and then they didn't even use the appropriate rate. That, you know, normally the laws of the pension are very clear. When you default for a number of when you default, there is 3% penalty slap on the default period.
Okay, in this period, the default period now is?
The default is 11 months.
11 months.
Yes.
So you have to pay.
You have to pay with the interest. And the one they paid last 2010 to 2016, they used some a simple interest instead of the percentage rate, which did not go well with us. We were actually so changed. We didn't get the value for money. You get it? So the law is clear. We should, this time around, we are going by what the law says. That once you default, you must apply the appropriate penalty sanctions as stipulated in our communique when we call.
The final question now is, if government wants to negotiate or talk with you at the National Labour Commission, it would then mean that you have to call off the strike. When it gets to that point, will you call off the strike? Will you call off?
No, we will not call off the strike until all these things are finalized. We can be on strike while we engage with it. It is not.
Would that be engagement in good faith? Because usually the National Labour Commission will ask you to call off the strike.
Commission.
Will you call off first before you engage?
We will never. We don't call off strike while we engage. We know that we have already informed them. We have followed the due process. So we've given them that 2 weeks notice, and they are aware. So if they are calling us to engage them whilst, they appeal to us, to our conscience. But I'm saying that this issue has been lingering for quite too long. And if we look at this strike, actually, we have closed everywhere, including security, hospital, and then basic school. This normally when we go on strike, we exempt some areas to work. But this time around, we have locked everywhere. So we want them to actually solve this problem once and for all. We believe Ghana, there's money. I don't want to hear there's no money issue, because this country is rich. This is a rich country. We have everything. We have gold. We have everything. There is no mineral that we lack in this country. Let's treat our workers with some kind of decorum and respect, and then ask them to give out their best. Because if you treat me well, I will give out my best. You know, if you have your wife at home and you don't treat her well, you will see the difference. It's just the same thing. Our management, including government, are not treating us very well. Recently, they are trying to touch our hospital, free hospital care. All these things, how will you do that and you expect the worker to give of his or her best? These are the things we are talking about. And nobody should think that the university worker, we are so much interested in going on strike. No. Our interest is not strike. If governments solve our problem, we will come back to work. Because staying at home, what will I gain? Yes, sir.